You can expect the playoff preview videos to continue today, but before we get to that, I wanted to cover some news items from around the Ontario Hockey Leagues. There's some exciting stuff that's been taking place. We have a couple of signings to touch on, arena news, and some playoff drama even before the second round gets underway. So we'll cover all that, but let's start with some signings. First, it was Florian Xhekaj, who announced that he has signed his NHL Entry Level Contract with the Montreal Canadiens. The Brantford Bulldogs power forward had a solid season with the Bulldogs. Unfortunately, their playoff run came to an end in the first round against the Ottawa 67s. But for Xhekaj, he was drafted in the fourth round by Montreal in the 2023 NHL Entry Draft, 101st overall. And what's amazing is he was signed as a free agent by the Bulldogs. He was never drafted into the Ontario Hockey League. He signed in 2022 after having an outstanding rookie season in the GOJHL with the Pelham Panthers. And he led the team in scoring as a rookie, 17 goals, 23 assists, good for 40 points. So the Bulldogs wanting to bring him on board because his older brother, Arbor Xhekaj, played with the Hamilton Bulldogs. And of course, he was also drafted and signed by the Montreal Canadiens. So the Xhekaj brothers following some similar paths. It's exciting to see. It's really cool to see that they'll be able to play with each other within the Montreal organization. But since Brantford has been eliminated from the playoffs, that means that Florian Xhekaj will actually join the Laval Rocket of the American Hockey League for the rest of the season on a PTO contract, so on a professional tryout. So congratulations going to Florian Xhekaj, well-deserved. And I really like this pickup from the Montreal Canadiens. Both of the Xhekaj brothers, they bring that grit, that power forward nature, and it's going to be really cool to see if those two can play a game in the near future together as a member of the Habs. So congratulations to the Xhekajs. And some other exciting news. This came out this morning, and Barrie Colt fans, I think, are going to be excited about this news. Beau Jelsma has signed a tryout with the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins of the American Hockey League. This is some exciting stuff. I truly believe Beau Jelsma deserves a professional contract. He carries the team on his back. He is a heart and soul kind of player. We saw in the playoffs just his play against the Oshawa Generals, and it's no reason why that the Barrie Colts signed him or made him captain this year after trading Punnett to the Generals at the OHL trade deadline. So with that, the Penguins, of course, they're the farm team of the Pittsburgh Penguins, and it comes after Kyle Dubas, the general manager of the Pittsburgh Penguins, was in attendance for Game 6 of the playoff series between Barrie and Oshawa. I also understand that Dubas was at Game 2 as well when the series was at the Tribute Community Center. So apparently the Penguins brass, they like what they saw with Beau Jelsma out on the ice, so that's why they're offering him this amateur tryout agreement. So we'll have to wait and see if Jelsma is going to be able to get some playing time at the American Hockey League level, but still, just for him to get that experience at the AHL. And it's going to go a long way because for Beau Jelsma, I think he's going to have an amazing season next year. After he put up a career high in points this season, he had 37 goals, 44 assists, good for 81 points. So he was a huge factor for Barrie making the playoffs this year. At the trade deadline, no one really gave Barrie much of a chance to make the playoffs. And then when they made the playoffs, no one really gave him the chance to get a win, let alone 2 wins on the road against the first seed Oshawa Generals. So exciting news for Beau Jelsma, and a big congratulations to him as he now heads down to Pennsylvania to join the Penguins. And we're also getting some big news out of Sudbury. It's going to be decided on Tuesday, or at least a report's going to go before Greater Sudbury City Council. They're going to be talking about the future of the Sudbury Arena. Do they renovate it or do they build new? Well, those discussions get fully underway Tuesday night. So this is a big moment for the Sudbury Wolves organization, as they've been wanting a new arena for quite some time, really since Dario Zulich took over ownership of the Sudbury Wolves. I left Sudbury 8.5 years ago to come to Barrie, and when I left, there were talks about a new arena. At that time, the focus was on the Kingsway project, so that was outside of the downtown core. That was kind of voted in favor of in 2017, but then that project kind of fell apart, and there were some legal issues with that, and then the costs kept rising, and they ended up canceling that project with a focus on downtown. So how this works is there's three options that City Council will consider. So this report from staff will be presented. The report's been released. It's just City Council will then go over and discuss it on Tuesday night. So option one, build a new arena downtown at a cost of $200 million. So it's a pricey project. But option two is to renovate the current arena for $180 million. So you're almost paying the same price to renovate the current structure as opposed to building a brand new one. And option number three, do nothing. And I think for some people in the city of Sudbury, if you're a hockey fan, you're a little nervous that the city council might go in that direction because let's face it, $200 million, $180 million, that is a huge price tag for a facility such as this. And of course, the taxpayers, they're going to feel it. It sounds like there'd be a surcharge put on tickets if they do decide to go forward with either of these two options so that can lessen the cost on the city. But this is a big deal. Sudbury, they have been in need of a new facility for quite some time. And for this project to go forward, City Council will have to be all on board one way or another. This arena, of course, built in 1951, actually the same year that the Kitchener Memorial Auditorium was built. So those two arenas are kind of like sister arenas, except the Aud has had a lot of upgrades over that time, expansions, and that facility has been kept up to date. Although there was talks in the past about building a new arena in Kitchener as well, because when you're dealing with a building that's built in 1951, it does show its age, even with the upgrades and whatnot. But focusing on Sudbury, I kind of feel like this arena is holding the city back because they can't have the same kind of shows as with Sault Ste. Marie. GFL Memorial Gardens is a state-of-the-art facility that opened about 15 or almost 20 years ago now. So they can get some of the big acts, like the big concerts that go across Canada, or they're making their way across Ontario. So Sudbury can't get that. Also, remember, the Sioux Greyhounds, they put in a bid for the Memorial Cup. With the way the things are set up in Sudbury, they can't bid on it. The tournament needs to be put in venues that are a certain size and whatnot. So Sudbury's out of the equation on that. So if you build a new arena, you could get the Memorial Cup one day in Sudbury. There's also curling championships like the Brier, and then, of course, big concerts. So Sudbury, they do acknowledge they need something new, even if it's a conference center. This is going to be a big debate. And again, that's on Tuesday night at Sudbury City Council. And it's going to be very interesting. And if the projects do go forward, they expect the new arena to be built by April 2028. And the renovations would also be completed sometime, I think, closer to September 2028 is what I read. So that's how things are shaping up right now. Let me know in the comments section down below if you're a fan of the Sudbury Wolves, your thoughts on a new arena. Do you think the city should go through with the new arena or the renovations? And if they do build the new arena, it'll be across the street on the other side of Minto, because the city's already purchased the properties over there. They've started to tear down some of the buildings around there for a future development for downtown Sudbury, either the arena or the convention center. So they are doing something on that property. They just need to decide now at the city council level what that will look like. So it's going to be fascinating to see where this goes. I'll continue to follow along with this story because I personally love going to games at the Sudbury Community Arena. The rink's got a nice charm to it. It's got the old wood ceilings. It's got the just so much of like the history in that building. It's got some great characters, some really good sight lines. I hate to lose that at the junior hockey level, but I think the years of neglect and the years of maybe needing upgrades were kind of pushed off because they were looking at building a new facility. It's really showing its age, and I think it is time to maybe move on to maybe a newer rink. But we'll have to wait and see. It all comes down to Tuesday night at Sudbury City Council. And sticking with Sudbury, some interesting news before they open their series against the North Bay Battalion in the second round of the playoffs. The Sudbury hockey team, or whoever's in charge of tickets, are blocking North Bay fans from buying tickets to games 3 and 4 of this second round matchup. This series is going to be a lot of fun. The Battle of Highway 17, two Northern Ontario teams going at it. The travel distance, less than an hour and a half. So these fans are going to want to travel well. It sounds like the fan club for the Battalion, they've been trying to book tickets so they can have a fan bus go to Sudbury, but they've been told that Sudbury fans, they get priority seating, and they won't open the tickets for North Bay fans until 48 hours before the game. So the earliest North Bay fans can buy tickets would be on Sunday for Game 3, which is taking place, of course, Tuesday night. So it's an interesting situation that they're doing. I understand that Sudbury would like to have Wolves fans dominate the stands at the Sudbury Community Arena, but I don't know. I think that's a little petty. If you don't have it kind of says that you don't really have confidence that Sudbury fans would buy the bulk of the tickets. And I think Sudbury fans are very passionate. They want to fill that barn. They're in the second round playing their big rivals from North Bay. And I think it's kind of nice when you do get some of the visiting fans. Obviously, with a fan bus, you're looking at maybe 200 fans. That's what North Bay did back in 2013 when they knew the Brampton Battalion were moving to North Bay. They packed a bus when the Brampton Battalion played Sudbury in 2013. So they had a corner of the rink, and they were loud, they were passionate. But I think it kind of added to the atmosphere having the away fans like that. So let me know in the comments section down below your thoughts on that situation or any of these news items today. Love to see the interactions. And again, I'll be posting more of the playoff preview videos coming up today. At least 2 of them will be posted today and maybe 1 tomorrow. I'll see what I can get to. But either way, playoff hockey is here. We got some great signings, and we're going to have an update in regards to the new Sudbury Arena. Love to see the interactions. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and we'll talk to you again soon.